Hi everyone. This is a really quick rundown on a question by a friend of mine, Julie, on how I do my matting. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do matting. I'll show you something from the simplest to the most complex. The simplest way of doing matting is having the right tool for the right job. And what I mean by that is the tools that you see right there are called, these ones here, they're called perfect layers. And these tools work with either a X-Acto blade or I prefer a rotary blade. The reason why I use these with a rotary blade is they are acrylic, and even though they do have a metal strip that goes down the middle, you can still chunk the sides of these with X-Acto blades, which I have taken many chunks out of before I found this little gem. So, what are perfect layers? You can Google these. I think they're on either HSN or one of the other shopping channels. I'm not sure which one has them now. But what they are is they're an incremental system that does anywhere from 1/16 of an inch all the way up to the new ruler, which has a 1/2 inch. And I think it even has a 3/4 inch on it of a mat or frame. And if you Google them, they have a website video on all of that. But basically, what it does and how it works is you put your picture or whatever you want down, and you can see this is totally crooked, no problem. My favorite measurements that I work with 1/8, I work with 1/4, and my favorite, which is the 3/16. Okay, I think it's just a nice, wonderful one to work with. The trick to this system that you have to do and that you have to know is you have to be working on a flat system. If you've got a bump in your desk or anything like that, this cannot work for you because it will have problems, I guarantee it. Okay, so what you do is you take your ruler. It has a little ledge and a lip, and what you're going to do is you're going to push the ruler down to the paper and then push it to where it grabs your picture, and it will actually grab that photo and stop. Keep that all the way down, and there's your cut. And then just go all the way around your photo. Turn, oops, put it down, grab your photo. The tip and the trick with this one is you have to keep your even pressure. See, this didn't cut all the way, so you have to keep even pressure on how you keep your tool cutting. Okay, and it'll work for you every time. No muss, no fuss, no mistake. Okay, and that gives you your perfectly matted 3/16 of an inch all the way around. That is the easiest way, the right tool for the right job. However, there are plenty of other ways to mat in the scrapbooking and card making world. Okay, some people don't have the luxury of having all the tools all the time, and what they have is a nice little cutter. This is the Fiskars cutter. It works good. It works fine. Here, this cutter here has the measurements that are designed for specific photos and everything else. I'm going to go with, say, we're going to use a 3x5 photo. Okay, so there's our 5 inches. There's our 3. Okay. If you know what the dimensions are of your picture that you want matted, it's very simple to do a good matting job. If you know you have 3.5 by 5 and you want to do a 1/4 inch, just add a 1/4 inch for each side, which makes add 1/2 inch, add 1/2 inch, and then that's going to give you 1/4 inch all the way around. Easy peasy. Okay, assuming you know math, that you like doing that, you can add whatever you want. Now, this system, excuse me, is great if you have these kind of rulers. Not everybody has the same tools or anything else. Okay, sometimes you don't even have X-Acto, or excuse me, you don't have a cutting system or anything else. All you have is a mat, a ruler, and a blade. If you have that, and that's all you have, as long as you have a clear ruler, you're still okay. What you can do is do a contrasting color, adhesive, put it down. Okay, it's crooked. Take your clear ruler. If you can see it, there is a 1/4 inch mark all along in the dotted line. And all you're going to do is place that 1/4 inch mark and cut. Same thing all the way around, 1/4 inch and cut. Alright, and what that's going to do is that's going to give you that same 1/4 inch border all the way around. The only problem with doing it this way is your rulers can slip and they can slide just slightly. Nobody's perfect. I like to use my Martha Stewart if I do it this way because the Martha Stewart has a non-slip backing to it that actually grips your paper. But I know that I messed up a little bit and I kind of wonked my ruler in just a little bit when I was going this way. So that if I tried to square this up against something else, it's not going to square up right. It's going to be just a little bit off. But not enough to really make too much of a difference. I can see it because I'm just anal retentive. But anyways, so you see how you can do matting that way. If you want to do a mat, say you don't have any kind of measuring system, all you have is a cutter, like a guillotine cutter or something to that nature, that can be done as well. Oops, I need this piece. That was the ruler. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go on here. I'm going to put that on my paper. And I'm going to get my cutter. And this is the caterpillar. Okay? If you've put it on a piece, you don't know if it's straight or wonky or however, that's fine. What you can do is you can do a cut, and then you can see where that's cut, if it's right. I know it's hard of an angle because you can't quite get this way, but you can see based on where your blade is on whether or not you should move this one up a little bit more, this one up a little bit more, and so forth. And then you can adjust and then redo your cut. Okay, and then you can just keep going down with this type of cutter. You can keep going down as small or as wide as you want, depending on how you want to do it. Now, once you get your first cut like here, then you can go down and you can go ahead, because you know everything else is square, and then you can center it up however you want to do your piece. Now, I do it quickly because I know my cutter, and I've worked with my cutter for quite some time. So, and there you have a border that way. Alright? Knowing your cutter is going to be your most important thing. And what I mean by that is every cutter has a ruler. This ruler here goes down to 1/16 of an inch. So I know that if I cut something, I go ahead and remember what I cut, or I go back in and measure it on my thing, and the next level down that I want to go, or if I want to mat up or if I want to mat down, that I either increase or I decrease. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is increasing or decreasing is that you have to do it ×2 because there's 2 sides to every square. Okay, so if I want a 1/8 of an inch mat, I have to add a 1/4 of an inch to the entire length. Which means if this, say this is 3 inches, if I want 1/8 of an inch over here and 1/8 of an inch over here, I'm adding 1/8 and adding 1/8. So I'm actually at 3 2/8, which is 3. Oops, wrote that wrong. Haha, 3 1/4. Okay, and that's going to be my total width. And then you do the same thing here and here. So say this is 2 1/2. I'm going to add that 1/4 inch, and that's going to give me 2 3/4 for my next size up. And then you just keep going out from there. And that's doing it knowing your measurements. Like I said, there's plenty of ways to do it. Using the right tool for the right job is always key. Perfect Layers is absolutely, obviously perfect for the job because that's what it's designed for. The thing I do also like about the Perfect Layers is you can do so many different types of layering. You can do a 1/16 all the way up to that 3/4 inch, and then everywhere in between. So it's a really beautiful system. And if you go on their site, you can see exactly how that works. It's really awesome. So anyway, so that's how I do my matting. Other people may do it different ways. It's entirely up to you. I can eyeball matting. I can do whatever. The only thing that I do make sure of is that it's straight. I do like, when I'm doing matting, instead of doing the large piece first and then cutting the smaller one, I like to cut the smaller one first and then go larger. Only because if I do that, what I can do is I can put the smaller piece on, and then I can keep cutting my larger piece down. For example, if I have a smaller piece that's like this, oops, and I mat it onto a bigger piece, I can decide how much and how far down I want to mat it. Okay, for example, I'm going to go ahead, mat it pretty wide. So there's my first cut. So everything else from this point is going to be pretty square. Okay, this is not quite perfect. I don't really like it that thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down a bit. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to keep cutting it down until I'm happy with the size matting that I want. The only drawback to doing it this way is that you're not guaranteeing that this side and this side are exactly the same, or that this side and this side are exactly the same. If you're not a perfectionist, that's not a big deal. If you are a perfectionist, it can be. But the thing of this one is, it still looks awesome. You would never know unless you get out your ruler that, excuse me, that any of the measurements are off. You would never know. This is 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch there. That's, oh, wait, that's a little bit over 1/4 inch. And that's, yeah, just a tiny bit over 1/4 inch there. Without getting your ruler out and looking at that, you really would never really know this. If it's a big difference, then yes, you would notice a little bit. And with some of the trimmers, especially the Caterpillar, you can go ahead and shave that off. Oh, see, now that's too small, so I can go back over to the other side, and I can shave just this tiny little bit off the other side, and I can match it up. So, again, the tool that you're going to use is going to make a big difference in how you mat. If you have anything other than a guillotine trimmer or a Caterpillar, I would suggest measuring it, knowing what your measurements are, and then cutting appropriately. If you have a guillotine or the Caterpillar, you can do just by sight like this. It's very simple. You learn your cutter. If you have just a blade and a ruler,